Judi Dench, Lily Tomlin, and Cher defy the fascists in Tea with Mussolini.
And sci-fi fans boldly go where no man's gone before in Trekkies.
You have big feet.
Yes. Yes, always have had.
Julia Roberts is a movie star who walks into the life of London bookseller Hugh Grant in that scene from Notting Hill. And that's one of 5 new movies we'll review this week. I'm Armchair Ebert of the Chicago Sun-Times, and across the aisle from me is this week's guest critic.
Hi, I'm Leah Rosen. I review movies every week for People magazine, and I am totally stoked to be here.
It's great to have you here, Leah. Welcome to the balcony. Okay, our first movie is Notting Hill, and it's a charming romantic comedy about a big Hollywood star played by Julia Roberts who walks into a London bookstore, meets the owner played by Hugh Grant, and finds him unexpectedly fetching.
Whoops, the daisies.
What did you say?
Nothing.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't.
You said whoopsie daisies.
Hugh Grant is playing a character something like the one he played in 4 Weddings and a Funeral, with sort of an ongoing battle between diffidence and charm.
Here we are.
Yes. Well, look.
Do you want to come up?
Well, there seem to be lots of reasons why I shouldn't, so.
Eventually, they do find themselves in the same bed at the same time, where their dialogue is more interesting than most of the things lovers say in the movies, because it's about the movies.
Rita Hayworth used to say, they go to bed with Gilda. They wake up with me.
Who was Gilda?
Her most famous part. Men went to bed with a dream, and they didn't like it when they woke up with reality. Do you feel that way?
There's a tricky kind of double reverse irony going on here when, instead of doing a nude scene, Roberts talks about the business of on-screen nudity.
You may show the dent of the top of the artist's buttocks, but neither cheek. Or if there's a stunt bottom being used, artist must have full consultation.
You have a stunt bottom?
Well, I could have a stunt bottom, yes.
Notting Hill uses 2 of the most dependable formulas in the long history of romantic comedies. First, it's about how opposites attract. And second, it's about how the audience is frustrated for nearly 2 hours in our fervent desire to see these 2 nice people fall in love. There comes a point in most of these movies where the difficulties outweigh the advantages, and we think we can't possibly sit through one more tragic misunderstanding or miscommunication, but we can, maybe because the dialogue in Notting Hill is literate and the actors are so charming. I really like this movie.
So glad to hear that, because I really like this movie, but I am a sucker for romantic comedies. So, you know, I know girls are going to like this one. I'm glad to hear boys do too. I just think it showcases the 2 of them in some of the best ways they've ever been. It takes advantage of both their skills. He sort of is self-deprecating and cute. She is the movie star you want her to be, the way you think she might really be in real life. It's a good script.
It really is. And you know, another thing about the movie is it's knowledgeable about film. There's a scene here where he wanders into a movie junket, and it was a junket something like junkets I've seen. There's a lot of dialogue where she talks about being a movie star and being the focus of attention, and also she has a speech in this movie where the audience fell dead silent when she talked about the fact that you grow older and you lose your beauty, and someday you're a has-been. And there's a close-up of Julia Roberts looking wonderful as she says that, and you realize that's the reality for her and really for everyone. It's a great moment.
And that she's on the cusp now, because she's past 30. And no, it's a good movie. It's also, what I like about this movie is it showcases London beautifully. There's that long take where they show time passing. And you see him walking down the same street and the seasons change. And I just thought that was really an elegant way to do it. Okay, moving on. Our next movie is Besieged, the latest film from Italian director Bernardo Bertolucci, who 27 years ago gave us Last Tango in Paris. Boy, do I feel old. Like Last Tango, Besieged is an enigmatic love story about an unlikely couple doing a mating dance in a confined space. Tandy Newton stars as an African woman whose husband is a political prisoner. She escapes to Rome, where she attends medical school and earns her room and board by cleaning for a wealthy, reclusive English composer played by David Thewlis. He lives upstairs, she lives downstairs, and he falls in love with her. He doesn't return his affections, at least not in the beginning.
I think this is yours.
It belonged to my aunt. I rather hoped you might keep it.
It's not possible I keep this. You know? It's why? Why do I keep this?
I love you.
The movie is about the clash of cultures, but told on an intimate level. For example, he plays classical music, she listens to African pop. Yet slowly they begin to appreciate each other's musical tastes, and so much more.
I'll be giving a small concert next Friday for some friends. Perhaps you could arrange to be there to help.
Yes, of course.
We never learn much about Thulis's character, where he comes from, what makes him tick. The movie starts as a political drama, but then turns into a small, personal love story about self-sacrifice. It was well acted, and I thought beautifully shot. But on the big screen, it just seemed too ethereal. Ultimately, the movie is so slight that by the end, I found myself just pulling a Peggy Lee and going, is that all there is?
Yeah, I was singing the same song. I really disliked this movie intensely. One of the things I disliked about it was it's all set up to get the two of them in bed by the end of the movie and to give us an obligatory nude shot, which we get in the last 5 minutes of the film, as if Bertolucci is almost teasing us. You know, if you'll stick with me here, you'll get to see her take her blouse off. I thought that was really kind of sick. And also the fact that her husband is a complete enigma, and we're asked to believe that she would like this guy who has no communication with her, who doesn't have anything in common with her. There's no reason why she should like him. And then one day he starts playing a rhythmic song, and oh, the African drums start beating, and she starts to smile like this. Oh, I hear that music, and now you're speaking to me. I mean, by the time this movie was over, I just thought it was insulting and basically racist.
Glad you felt that way, Roger. I'm not sure I disliked it quite that much, but I just felt it was so slight. He made this originally for Italian television, I read somewhere, and I think that's where it belongs. What
happened to Bertolucci? He used to make these really deep, involved, complicated, labyrinthine stories, and his recent films are just all about pretty girls, and by the end of the film you get to see the pretty girl, and that's the payoff, and you feel there ought to be more here.
Well, I think Tandy Newton is so good, and you're just waiting for her to come through with a movie that sets her off.
I like her. I liked her in her very first movie, Flirting. Yeah. Coming up later, Maggie Smith, Lily Tomlin, and Cher in Tea with Mussolini.
Well, American women as exciting as you.
Coming up next, Trekkies. Are Star Trek fans crazy or simply very enthusiastic?
Are you a Trekkie?
Totally.
Do you know me? Not yet. I'm starting my own business, and that's a little scary. For me, the card is my support system. I rely on it to build my office, fill my closets, buy business lunches, dinners, and when it all gets to be too much, I rely on it to bring me home. It's good to know there's someone there when you need them.
Apply now. Visit AmericanExpress.com. For the 1% of the world that expects more from a truck, there's the all-new GMC Sierra. Completely redesigned with the first ever standard 4-wheel anti-lock disc brakes on a half-ton pickup and our largest cab ever. 1%ers, your wait is over. Come in now during the National Sierra Invitation Days. It's your chance to make comparisons, not compromises.
At times I'm a Trekkie, and other times I'm a Trekker.
Every serious fan considers themselves a Trekker.
There's a lot of footage in the news these days about Star Wars fans, but believe me, they are softballs compared to Star Trek fans, who are the subject of a new documentary named Trekkies. I knew there were a lot of Star Trek fans, but somehow until I saw this movie, I didn't realize how many there are in a worldwide network of organizations. This is a fan who identifies herself as Lieutenant Commander Barbara Adams, the commanding officer of the USS Artemis, which is the Little Rock unit of the Federation Alliance.
I've come because a lot of people have shown a lot of interest in what I did in going to the trial in my uniform.
I was selected, summoned for the jury for the Whitewater trial.
in Little Rock, Arkansas.
And here's a Trekkie named Dennis Bourguignon who goes where no dentist has ever gone before.
Welcome to Starbase Dental. We originally decided that we wanted to go with Star Trek because we find that Star Trek, the episodes are always geared with a moral. They're good doers. And we wanted to portray dentistry or dentists as good doers.
There are times Star Trek fandom seems almost like a secular religion, as the Trekkies talk about how mankind could benefit from the values of the universe, according to Gene Roddenberry, and who knows, maybe it could. Trekkies may tell you more about Trekdom than any but the most dedicated Trekhead wants to know, but for me, it had a kind of weird fascination.
Well, I like this too, but I would have liked it more at 60 minutes than 87 minutes. I thought it was a little extended. I also felt it wasn't very thorough. It didn't put things in a context. I mean, you better be fairly familiar with the whole Star Trek phenomenon because it's not going to walk you through it.
Yeah, but of course, nobody's likely to go to a documentary about Star Trek fans unless they are a Star Trek fan. I suppose, I agree with you, it goes on a bit too long since its only message is, you know, here's another person who has this uniform on
and wears
really,
a phaser to work.
Yeah,
that was the wearing your phaser
seriously.
to work. It's like, I couldn't get through the door of my office with a phaser.
My favorite moment was when they're having an auction and one of the Star Trek stars has a virus, and they auction off his drinking glass because somebody else wants his virus.
No, it was that, and it was the poodle dressed up in the Star Trek uniform that just...
Another high point. Okay, coming up next, Oscar winners Judi Dench, Maggie Smith, and Cher star in the period drama Tea with Mussolini.
Are you ready, Hester? We have to go. Oh, I'm sorry. Am I holding up the wall?
Stop the presses, the rich are inconvenienced. Tea with Mussolini is about how a group of art-loving British expatriates in 1930s Italy find themselves, yes, inconvenienced by the rise of Il Duce. Maggie Smith, Joan Plowright, and Judi Dench portray the plucky Englishwomen, while Cher and Lily Tomlin show up as their brash American pals. Franco Zeffirelli directed this drama based on a chapter from his own autobiography about how, when he was a boy, these women took him under their wing.
See, Luca, Florence isn't just shiny cars and ice creams, as little boys think. It's the human form divine, the body beautiful.
The ladies eat in fabulous restaurants and spend most of their time sniping at each other. Much of their gossip centers on the vulgar, rich American ex-showgirl played by Cher.
And Cesare said? Yes, well, he said he just found the first version of Picasso's Demoiselle d'Avignon.
And you bought it?
Well, of course I...
Connie Rayner of the Morning Post in London. Do you mind if I take notes?
No.
Yes, sweet.
No, I want everyone to hear about this.
After war breaks out, the women are imprisoned. Will they rally to help Cher, whose character is Jewish and faces an even more dire fate?
She's got a passport, she's got papers, all provided for her by her Italian family.
Passport, it's a death warrant.
How can we be sure of that? I can't see why she can't make her own arrangements.
Because she's locked in her room, too damn scared to move.
Oh, then if she can't move, she better stay where she is.
They may have an impressive total of 4 Oscars and 11 nominations among them. But Smith, Dench, Plowright, Cher, and Tomlin, try saying that 5 times fast, can't convince me that Tea with Mussolini is anything but a weak brew. Joan Plowright gives the best performance here. Judi Dench and Maggie Smith both have too little to do, while Cher, how do I say this nicely, has too much. The real problem with Tea with Mussolini is that the movie is excessively sentimental. I prefer my tea without sugar, thank you. So despite the stellar cast and good intentions, I reluctantly give this film thumbs down.
Well, my thumb is down too, and I really think the weakest part of this film is the character representing Franco Zeffirelli, little Luca, who is played at 2 different ages by 2 actors, both of whom basically just stand around and look and react and have these ladies mother him, and then he becomes a resistance fighter, which means basically he hides behind a tree until he's needed, and then he puts Cher in a rowboat and says, there's a fishing vessel out there that's going to take you to safety. And all of this was completely unconvincing. What I liked was the notion of these British and American expatriate ladies in Florence at this time in kind of a Merchant Ivory, E.M. Forster sort of environment. And if it had just been about them, without the so-called story of the hero,
it would have been more interesting film in some ways, but I also just think the dialogue is trite. I mean, it's the kind of thing where someone says, you know, the world has gone crazy. I mean, you sort of, it's the kind of movie you can do the lines ahead of them. And I don't go to movies to do the lines ahead of the actors.
Yeah, it's not a real well-evolved story. It's more like he remembers all of this stuff, and it was so neat for him that he doesn't remember he's got to make it neat for us. Okay, next movie. Our next movie is, I think, quite simply a masterpiece. Its title is After Life, and it's the new film by Hirokazu Koreeda, the gifted young Japanese director whose first feature, Maborosi, was on my best 10 list 2 years ago. Now he brings us another film about the impenetrable mysteries of life and death. The film opens in a way station, sort of a limbo, where people come immediately after they die, and there's a resident staff to greet them and explain the situation.
もう状況はおよそお分かりになっていると思いますが、念のためにもう一度確認させていただきます。多田公子さん、つまりあなたですが、昨日お亡くなりになりました。
They have 3 days, they're told, to select one memory from a lifetime, and then that memory will be staged and filmed, and the film will be saved, and that will be the only memory they can take on with them to the next stage of the afterlife.
そうなんだ。みんなディズニーランドのこと30人。
Not everyone finds it easy to select a memory. Some even feel there's nothing worth remembering.
1本が1年分で71本です。記憶は記録とは違いますから、ビデオはあくまで参考にと考えてください。記憶を蘇らせる手助けにしていただければと思います。
Well, even the basic situation, the idea of afterlife is fascinating, but Koreeda moves more deeply into these lives. We see the process by which memory actually creates our lives, shapes them, and gives them meaning. We begin to understand how, on the last analysis, memory is all we have at the end of life. This is a beautiful film, a touching one, and a profound one. Not often do we get to have such an experience at the movies. On the basis of Afterlife and Maborosi, Koreeda moves in my list of the ranks of the greatest directors around. He is very good.
I'm with you. I think this is a great film. It's also an exhilarating film. I mean, it's the kind of movie you come out, you want to buttonhole every person you see and say, go see this movie. It works on so many levels. It works on the level of memory and your life and what do you remember, but it's also about film. What can film capture and what can it not capture? No sense of smell, no sense of taste, that's missing. And it makes you come out of this film, most of all, you come out going, what from my life would I select?
Yeah.
And it stays with you for days, and that is the mark of a good film.
It is a great film. You know, Koreeda did about 500 interviews in preparing for this film, and some of the people who he talked to are actually in the film, and some of the memories they're talking about are actually their own memories. Other stuff is scripted. But at every point, as you're watching the film, you're thinking, what memories do I treasure? What has my life been about? You know, after a certain point, you're the only person who remembers. You're the only person who remembers people that you knew 40 years ago and things that you said at that time. It only exists in here, and so it becomes so precious.
Well, one of the fascinating things the film shows is two other things in terms of memory. What part do you play in other people's lives, and is the way you remember things the way it was, or have you subtly altered it over the years to fit in with your picture of yourself? I just found it's one of those films, days later, you're still reworking it in your head, and how many movies do that? Very few. Relish them, treasure them when you can.
You're absolutely right. It's called Afterlife. I think it deserves to be an Oscar nominee next year. Go out of your way to see it. It's worth it. When we come back, my video pick of the week topped Gene Siskel's list of the best films last year, and it was on my list too.
Can I help you?
Once there was an adorable prince who loved to frolic and play. But one day he fell under a strange spell. Frolicking was suddenly uncool. To reverse the spell, his parents took him to a most magical place. And it worked. The boy forgot to act cool and had the time of his life with his happy family. Of course, he later broke their hearts by going to college out of state, but that's another tale. Call 1-407-WDisney and make your dream come true.
Oh, the plight of today's dandruff sufferers. Note the fear of embarrassment, the hesitancy with others, the fragile self-esteem. Note their brand new dandruff shampoo, Nizoral AD, the world's #1 prescribed ingredient for dandruff, now in non-prescription strength. All they do is use Nizoral AD twice a week. It can turn dandruff sufferers into people free of dandruff. New Nizoral AD, the freedom will go to your head.
Siskel and Ebert's Video Pick of the Week is brought to you by Nestle Raisinets. At the movies or at home, Raisinets.
My video pick this week is Babe, Pig in the City, which was Gene Siskel's choice for the best film of 1998, and it was also on my top 10 list. This sequel to the beloved Babe is one of those films that contains one visual surprise after another, as we learn the calamity has struck the Hoggett farm since Babe won that sheep herding contest in the first film. As Pig in the City opens, Farmer Hoggett is laid up from an accident, and the farm faces foreclosure. So Mrs. Hoggett tries to save the day by exhibiting Babe in a distant fair. Alas, they miss their connecting flight, and so the two country dwellers find themselves homeless in the big city.
So you don't take pets? But he's just a little pig. Well, it's more of a dog, really. But he's practically human.
After Babe and Mrs. Hoggett finally find a hotel that caters to animals, here is the vista that greets Babe as he looks out his window.
Then the thought occurred to him, maybe it wasn't sheep herding. Maybe something else was required of him.
The film creates a fresh new cast of supporting characters, but my favorite is a holdover from the first one, Ferdinand the Duck, with a voice by Danny Mann.
Give us a peck. Come on, pig. Kiss, 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 kiss. Who are these losers? Ferdy. What's going on here? You look different.
Yeah, well, this place can really take it out of you.
Babe, Pig in the City is available on DVD and tape, and it's my video pick of the week.
Looks like Taz just got his AT&T phone bill. Taz, don't you make a lot of calls on Sunday?
Yeah, Taz call.
Then use MCI 5-cent Sundays. It's just 5 cents a minute every Sunday. AT&T charges 3 times as much. Taz, just call 1-800-Sundays. Become an MCI customer.
Time's a good time for breakfast at IHOP.
Now let's take another look at the movies we reviewed this week. We both enjoyed the lighthearted romantic comedy Notting Hill with Hugh Grant, Julia Roberts, and lots of charm. It opens next week. 2 thumbs down, however, for Besieged, the aimless drama about an unconvincing relationship from Bernardo Bertolucci. We were intrigued by Trekkies about the world of Star Trek fandom, but we were both disappointed by Tea with Mussolini. It lacked focus. And finally, we both had enormous admiration for Afterlife, the fantasy where after you die, you get to make a movie about one chosen moment of your life. And Afterlife would be my favorite from this whole show.
Well, I'm with you on Afterlife, but for Saturday night, I'd go with Notting Hill.
Notting Hill is a great movie, too. Thanks for being here, Leah.
So welcome. I enjoyed it enormously.
Okay. Remember, you can hear our reviews, Leah and mine, on the web at Siskel-Ebert.com, part of Go Network. Next week, a special show on the animation explosion that's everywhere these days. In the movies, and on TV, and on home video. We're calling it That's Not All, folks. That's next week, and until then, the balcony is closed.
Right now at Meineke, save a big 50% off of your second shock or strut when you buy 2.
At Meineke, you won't pay a lot, but you'll get a lot.
It's Jennifer Convertible's 8-piece living room for just $6.99. A sofa bed, 2 garden chairs, 3 tables, and 2 lamps.
Jennifer Convertibles, America's largest sofa bed specialist.
I should have used Preparation H.
It helps stop itch and irritation with a soothing layer of protection.
I should have used Preparation H.
You can't get closer to the benefits of raw garlic than Natrol Garlipure. There's a better choice. Garlipure by Natrol. Available wherever fine nutritional supplements are sold.
Closed captioning for Siskel and Ebert is sponsored by...
Take a bite of Croissant Pockets ham and cheddar and discover smoked ham and real cheddar cheese in a crispy, flaky croissant crust.
What are you gonna pair?
Croissant Pockets.